guys, I'm Sanvi, and today I'm going to talk about when we're in a certain situation and that situation keeps repeating, or when we grow in a certain environment or a place or surrounding and we just constantly see the same thing happening over and over again, or when we're exposed to the same or certain stimuli or type of information again and again. And it's like really common to us by this point. We tend to think just because it's common, it's also normal. So this can be like a conscious belief or an unconscious belief that just because it's common, it's normal. Like for example, in like a lot of places, even if a woman is getting harassed in a certain way, people will just overlook it because it just happens so often. It's normal, right? If like how a lot of people talk about getting beaten up by their parents, getting physically, emotionally abused by their parents, and they even joke about it. Why? It's common, but it is certainly not normal and it certainly should not be normal. Okay? And that is the emphasis I want to make in this video. That just because you went through something, just because you keep seeing something happening in your environment, just because you see that different type of people are going through the same situation over and over again, it does not mean those situation instances, things that are happening to them or to you, are normal just because they're common. And this is something that may seem like, oh, like this is such a basic thing, it's so easy to understand, but it's really not. People make assumptions, people make remarks, people give opinions on things, considering in their mind, internally believing they're normal when they're really not. If you go to someone, like let's say there are two people, okay? There's Sheila and then there's Samra, okay? So Sheila basically is someone that hasn't really gotten abused by her parents as much, and her mom slapped her for one thing. And Samra is someone that gets like really abused a lot. Like her parents just slap her for literally anything. They emotionally abuse her, they physically abuse her, they tell her constantly she's not good, they beat her up and all of that. So Sheila goes to Samra and goes, my mom slapped me today and it really hurt my feelings, and I just feel like it shouldn't have happened and what she did was wrong, but she cannot seem to think she did anything wrong because she keeps constantly telling me there are other people getting beaten up, there are other children getting beaten up, and all I did was slap you, so I did nothing wrong. And Samra goes, yeah, like my parents beat me up all the time, so like I don't think anything bad happened to you, and I think you're just like overreacting a little bit. Like this is not that deep. You literally just got slapped. You see what I'm saying? Physical abuse in families has become so common that it's normalized. So Samra went through the same experience in a more uh, exaggerated way. Her Sheila's mother, being aware of the experiences other children go through, she thought she was being a great mother by just not physically abusing her child, telling her child that, hey, I did nothing wrong. I just slapped you once. And people get beaten up out there. You should be grateful that I'm not physically abusing you. This is because something wrong is so common and something wrong has been normalized. So Sheila over here got hurt. She was abused in a way, but it was not full abuse. It was a slap. And I think abuse is something that happens over and over again. But I would say that it was emotional abuse for her parents to say that, wow, we're being so nice to you, you know? So this is like one of the peak examples, because when other people go to other people saying that this happened to me, and people just compare to their standard. See, like it's like the common has become the standard rather than the normal becoming the standard. You get it? But the common should not be the standard. The healthy objective should be the standard and should be the normal. For Samra, she was just comparing it to what her parents did to her, which was her experiences were getting beaten up and her parents' experiences were getting abused, right? So for her, it was normalized because that was the constant environment she grew up in and that was the same thing she was exposed to over and over again, right? So because of that, for Samra, it was like really normalized, even though just because it was common, just because it should not be normalized, but it was really normalized for her because it was so common. So that was her standard. And when some Sheila, whose standard was here, that this should not be like, wait, her standard was here that, like, it's bare minimum to not hit me or whatever. And when her parents hit her, she went to Samra. Samra was comparing it to her standard. Like, what are you on? What are you talking about? So a lot of people base their standards on what's common rather than what should be normal. They normalize what should not be normalized. You need to ask yourself questions. Is what I'm thinking, is what I'm feeling, is the way I'm acting, is that really normal? Or did I make it normal because I was exposed to something not normal? And just because I was exposed to it so many times, I'm thinking it's normal. If Samra thought about what's objectively normal, what's objectively healthy, she would not have said the same thing to Sheila. She would have been different to Sheila, right? She would have reacted to the same thing Sheila told her in a different way. This is not just applied to this situation, it can be applied to many different other situations, like the school you grew up in, the job environment you have, because there are a lot of people, and each one of them has gone through similar or different experiences. So it's just a breeding ground for different experiences, and a lot of people just take subjective experiences as the normal standard, and that too subjective experiences of their own. But what people need to think and what people need to really uh like self-reflect on is what is objectively healthy. Because what is objectively healthy should be what's normal. Not just because it's common does not mean it's normal. Common is not normal. Common can be normal, but it is not normal. You need to form a normal based on healthy standards, not a normal that is subjectively based on your experiences and opinions and feelings. Something that can be applied everywhere. And that's that. That was the point of the video. Thank you.